Hello again, everybody. This is Kat. Welcome back to the second episode of Kat in the Kitchen. Today, as promised, last week I told you that we were going to do orange chicken and jasmine rice next. So this is what we're hoping to achieve. And I don't have all the equipment I'm probably going to need for this, so please bear with me and be patient. I also considered actually going ahead and setting up the ingredients already in advance like they do on cooking shows when they're doing a cooking segment live, like on Ellen or something, to save time. But I really am hoping that what someone will do that watches this is order the meal from HelloFresh, like for instance this is the orange chicken, and actually want to do the steps with me. So I don't want to cut out the actual how to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to do everything a little bit faster for the sake of time. And we'll see how it goes. If you prefer, I go ahead and pre-measure everything and have everything ready to go in little tiny bowls or little tiny cups. Let me know and I could do that for you guys next time. But I really am hoping that by actually doing all the steps, somebody that's not a good cook like myself will appreciate having seen the steps, and it'll make it easier for you to come out with the result that we're hoping to achieve. So we're going to get started. What should come in our HelloFresh package today? We have apricot jam. Okay. We have tempura mix. We have an orange. We have 3/4 cups of jasmine rice. We have scallions. We have Thai style chili sauce. We have, this doesn't say what it is, but it looks like this is sweet soy glaze. I'm going to assume that's what this is. And then we have rice wine vinegar. That's what this is. And we have, it says HelloFresh chicken stock. That's what this is. It's chicken stock. Okay. And then the last thing we have in here is cornstarch. Okay. So we're going to save the bag like we did last time for us to keep our scraps and trash in. So we'll set that aside. So now that we have all our ingredients out, it's kind of measured for us anyway, so I'm not really sure how much time that would actually save. We're going to get to the recipe. So it says we're going to start off with cooking the rice. So we're going to, in a small pot, I'm going to assume this is small enough for us to use for the rice. It says that we're going to combine the rice with 1 1/4 cups of water and a pinch of salt. And we're going to bring that to a boil, then cover and reduce to a low simmer. So let's go ahead and get 1 1/4 cups of water. This is our liquid measuring cup here. So I'm going to go to the sink out of frame and get 1 1/4 cups of water. Oh, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my burner to start to get warm, because we're going to be bringing it to a boil. Okay, so let's do 1 1/4 cups. That's about half of this. I'm going to set it on the shelf to make sure that it's truly leveled off, which it is. When I actually put it down, it's actually 1 1/4 cup right there. Okay, so we're going to put that in the pan. This is what we're going to do with our rice. And it says along with that, we're going to bring that to a boil. We're going to combine the rice and the water and a pinch of salt. So I'm going to use my scissors to open up this rice. Put that in there. Okay. And it says a pinch of salt. So I'm not exactly sure what constitutes a pinch of salt, but usually when I do this, I do like a teaspoon of salt when I do like my rice. So I'm not going to do a whole teaspoon, but I'll do like this amount. It's not a lot. So I'll just kind of maybe stop there. I won't use it all, so I'll dump that in the sink. Okay. So it says to bring this to a boil, so we'll turn the burner up high enough to start to get bubbly, and then when it does start to come to a boil, we'll cover it and reduce to a low simmer and cook it, it says, until the rice is tender, 15 to 18 minutes. So most people know how to make basic rice. It doesn't call for us to add anything else to it but the salt. So I'm going to do the recipe their way. Usually when I make white rice, I actually add a little bit of butter to it. But I'm going to do the recipe the way that they call for it. So we'll get that boiling. Add this to our garbage bag. Okay, so now that we've done that, prep and coat the chicken. Wash and dry all the produce. So the only produce that there is the orange and the scallions. So I'm gonna open these up, take these over to the sink and wash them, and then dry them. So I'll be back. Okay, so all I do is I use like lukewarm water, and I'm just going to rub the orange really good and wash it, make sure that it's clean, because we're going to actually be using the zest of the orange. So make sure that's really clean. And then clean the scallions. Clean those pretty thoroughly and shake it dry. Okay, so the scallions are now, I guess I should put it down so you all can see what's going on at the prep table. Okay, so it looks like it's already coming to a boil, this water with the rice, so I know I said I was going to do the recipe exactly as they say to do it, but I'm actually going to add some butter. The reason why I do it is not just for flavor, but also so that it doesn't stick to the pan. So I'm going to just add a little bit of butter here to the boiling water with the salt and the rice. And that way it doesn't stick. But now that it's boiling, we're going to bring it down, like it said, to a simmer. So I'm going to put it on, I'm going to cover it and let it simmer. So let that rice get started doing what it needs to do. Okay. And put it on low too. And it said 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do the cook time. It said 15 to 18, but I'm going to go ahead and set it for like 12 and take a look at it at that time and see what it looks like. Okay, so you see less of me now, but you definitely see the prep area, which is what I need you to see. So I'm going to pat down the scallions until we need them. Let those air dry a little bit. Got my orange that's all clean. The next thing it says to do is zest the orange until you have 1 teaspoon of zest. Now, I don't have a zester per se, but I have like a grater. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the small grater screen to get the zest. And it says just till I have 1 teaspoon. It's going to be actually take quite a bit to get 1 teaspoon, but we'll do our best because that's what it says to do. It's coming together a little bit, so. It's coming along slowly but surely. It says 1 teaspoon. So what I'm also going to do is get out a small little plate that I could put all the ingredients on until we're ready to mix them, however we're going to mix it. That might be enough. We'll see. It said 1 teaspoon. That's quite a lot. Okay, so get a little plate to put this on. I really don't know how much we're going to need. It says grate about 1 teaspoon, so hope I can get 1 teaspoon out of this little orange. I'm pretty sure I can. trying not to grate my nails. Okay. Next time I definitely will. I go to the store, I'll see if I can find a zester. I'm not sure if this mini grated thing is what I'm supposed to be using, but it's what I have. If we don't end up using this actual orange for anything, I'm going to eat it. It smells good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take that off of there. And also scoop this up here that I have going on. And that might be, this might be enough. I'm really not sure. But looks like that could be a teaspoon. That's what it asked me to get, was a teaspoon. I'll grate a little tiny bit more. Okay, so this is probably enough. Okay, so we'll leave that sit there because it said 1 teaspoon of orange zest. So we got that now. Now it also says to trim and thinly slice the scallions. So we're gonna do this next. Gonna trim them. Trim and thinly slice. I'm not sure how much of the green part we used. Last recipe we did, we had a pile of white and a pile of green, so I'm going to do that again, not knowing for sure what we're going to actually be using, the green or the white or both. But I will set that aside over there. Okay, so we've done the green onions. Hopefully this isn't all wasted. I'm not sure how much of the onion we actually use and don't use. Okay, so hopefully we didn't waste too much. Okay, so now that we got that, it said pat chicken dry with a paper towel, then dice into 1-inch pieces. So I do have the chicken thawed out. This was the chicken cutlet that they gave me. This is the chicken cutlet, and it says, it's definitely all thawed out, it says to pat chicken dry with a paper towel, then dice into 1-inch pieces. So I'm going to move this to the sink. I'm actually going to move this to the garbage. Okay. I'm going to try to keep the area clean as we go along. So let me open this up. And it doesn't say to wash the meat, but I usually do. I usually wash the meat, rinse it a little bit, so it doesn't say to do that, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to rinse it before I do the patting dry that it says to do. They sure put this in there pretty good. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the sink before it leaks. I'm going to take the chicken out. Like they sent 2 chicken breasts, 2 little chicken cutlets in this package. So we rinsed that one pretty good. And there were actually 2 little cutlets inside of this package. I'm rinsing the second one here. Okay, so this is the second one. And it says to pat it dry. So I'm going to pat that dry. And then it says to cut into 1-inch pieces. I know this is bad, but I don't even know really what 1 inch is, and I'm not going to break out a ruler or anything. So what I'm going to do, push this back a little bit more. What I'm going to do so I don't break out a ruler or anything is I'm just going to cut them. I'm really not even sure what kind of knife to use. I'm really a bad cook, if you haven't already guessed that. But I'm not really sure what kind of knife to use. I'm going to go with, I guess I'll go with this knife. I really don't know. So we're going to go with this knife. Okay, so we're going to cut them, it said, into 1-inch pieces. Guess we just pretty much want to keep the pieces even in size, because I know from watching some of the cooking channels that I watch that it's better if you keep them all around the same size so that they cook all pretty evenly all the way through. So I'm pretty sure these look like they're more than 1 inch. But when I go into the Chinese food place, yeah, I think I'm gonna cut these in half of that. I think I'm gonna go with this size. I don't know if that's right, but I'm gonna go with a pile that size. So that means this one's gonna get cut in half. I want to make them all about the same size. This is gonna make an awful lot of orange chicken here at this size. But I'm gonna use all of it because the recipe called for that for 2 servings. So I guess I'm gonna have orange chicken today and orange chicken leftovers as well. This one I think I cut too small, so that's probably just gonna be garbage. I know it's wasteful, but it's a little too small. I have a cutting board in my storage unit, so the next time that I cook for you all, I'll definitely have my cutting board, because these towels get pretty cut up, but I don't want to just cut it on the counter itself. So let's see. I'm not really sure. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna keep going with the 1-inch slices. The other cutlet was a little bit more thicker and was actually easier to cut. But since we're gonna dip this in tempura mix anyway, where they don't have to be super neat slices, but I will cut off the fat. I don't like fat. I hate when I go to a Chinese food place and I order my food and I bite into it and I have to spit something out in my napkin. Okay, so I'm going to rinse these because sometimes a little bit of the paper towel might have been stuck to it. And we just want to eat chicken. We don't want to eat paper towel. That's for sure. Okay, so yeah, I think this is going to be about enough. I know I'm wasteful, but there's only me. I got the order for 2 servings, and there's really just me, so I'm not going to use those other pieces. They're a little too thin. Okay, so throw that away. Okay, so we got our chicken cut up, we got our zest, we got our scallions. Now let's see what's next. What's next is we pat the chicken dry with paper towels, then we dice it in a large bowl, whisk together the okay, so we need to get a bowl now because we're going to do the tempura mix, I imagine. So it says in a large bowl. So I think this is probably large enough. That's the the 12-minute buzzer, because remember it said 15 to 18 minutes, and I said we were going to do like 12 and see where we're at. And yeah, see, 12 is good because see, it's actually starting to come together already at 12 minutes. So it's a good thing we didn't leave it on there for a full 15 to 18, because if you look, it's actually coming together quite nicely. So before it burns, we're going to turn it really low and let it start to stiffen a little bit for maybe a couple more minutes. So we're going to do that. Turn it really low. Okay, so that I don't overcook it, I know it's silly, but I'm still going to set it for another 2 minutes. Just because sometimes when you get to cooking, you lose track of what you're doing, and then you forget, and we don't want to burn the bottom of the rice because we want to have orange chicken and jasmine rice, not just orange chicken. Okay, so this is a large enough bowl for me. So what it says we're going to do now is we're going to, in a large bowl, whisk together the tempura mix, that's this, 1/3 cup of cold water, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I have my salt here. I have a teaspoon, and I'm going to go get, it says 1/3 cup cold water. Be right back. Okay, so we're going to open up the tempura mix, and we're going to go ahead and use it all. So put that all in there. Okay, so that's all. Take that, and we know it said the salt, and it said 1 teaspoon of salt. That's the buzzer again. I know that's annoying probably for you guys. Huh? Okay, so we're going to go with the salt. Kind of mix that together. And it actually said to do 1/3 cup of water, and it said whisk it together. I don't even own a whisk, so I'm just going to have to use a fork and do it really fast, I guess. Because we're going to work with the tools that we have. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mix that up. I actually have a hand mixer, but we don't have to break that out. We'll just do it ourselves. Just whisk it pretty quick like I do when I make scrambled eggs in the morning. I just kind of mix it. While we're doing that, if mixture is too thick, add more water, it says, 1 tablespoon at a time until it reaches a pancake batter-like consistency. I'm getting that pancake batter-like consistency as it is already, so we're probably doing pretty good. It says stir chicken into batter until fully coated. So right now we're still going to do the mixing, get all that powder that's in there, kind of like it just said. We're trying to get a pancake batter consistency. So far so good, folks. That looks like what we're achieving here. And it said if it was too thick, we could add a little bit more water, but I think we're good here. Okay, so while this is, we're going to let this sit for a minute. Because if I dip it, they didn't have us start heating up oil until the 4th step. It has us make the sauce first. But we can dry the chicken and dump the pieces in here just to begin to coat it. Because this is actually quite the way that it says they want it. Okay. So let's do the patting dry the chicken and dumping the pieces of chicken into the bowl to get them coated. So far so good. This looks like it's going to be a pretty easy recipe. I mean, I think really I picked easy ones because I know what looks too challenging for my skill set. But I picked pretty easy ones to start, just to get used to cooking, because like I said, I don't really cook. I eat out a lot, and I know how to cook breakfast really well and a few dinners, but I purposely did pick things that were a little simple and less time consuming. I tried to stay under the 30 minutes, under the 30-minute mark. So since we whisked this to a good consistency, it said a pancake-like consistency, and we're supposed to coat the chicken in it, we're just going to start dropping the pieces of chicken in it to start getting them coated. Because I imagine that we're going to have to start the sauce next, it says, and then after the sauce, while we're doing the sauce, we can start heating up a 1/2 inch layer of oil in a large pan. I'll probably do it in this pan here. But I'll let the oil heat up while I'm making the sauce. And then we'll be ready to actually fry the tempura covered chicken. So I don't really know if you could see it or not. I think you can. But I'm just kind of coating the chicken. You can see that the chicken is in there. We're just coating it. Okay. So we're going to let that sit for a bit in the coating. That's kind of pretty much ready to go. And we're going to work on the sauce. It says make the sauce. So to a bowl. And we're going to go with this smaller bowl that I have. Okay, I'm going to go with the smaller bowl. Now, in a bowl, we're supposed to bowl with orange juice, add sweet soy glaze. So, I guess we're supposed to juice this orange. I have a juicer, so that's easy enough to do. I don't know, am I supposed to use the whole juice? 1/2 orange, squeeze juice from both halves into a small bowl. Okay, so I have a juicer, but it doesn't say necessarily that I need to use the juicer. It just says to squeeze the halves into a bowl. So I'm just going to squeeze it myself, I guess. Squeeze as much juice as I can in there. Just till it stops giving me juice, I guess. It's giving me quite a bit. And that's just half of it. This was a really nice juicy orange that they gave us. So I will say, in the 2 recipes that I've done so far from HelloFresh, they do give you really fresh tasting ingredients. So that's good. So I'm going to squeeze this second half. To the orange juice, we're going to add the sweet soy glaze, the chili sauce, jam, the stock concentrate, and the orange zest, and half of the vinegar that they supplied us, which is the rice vinegar, and the cornstarch, and then 4 teaspoons of sugar. And I have sugar in my cabinet, so that's what we'll be using. Since it's actually going to take me time to do the mixing of the ingredients, I'm going to turn the oil on, because it says heat a 1/3 inch layer of oil in a large pan. So, and it says when I drop a little bit of batter in it, if the batter sizzles, it's ready to go. So I'm going to step away from this little orange for a minute. I might squeeze some more, but I'm going to go ahead and put some oil in a pan and start heating it. Because once the glaze is done, we'll just be dipping the chicken and ready to go. for the frying, because the rice, like I said, is pretty much done. That's the next thing I gotta do, is that alarm went off. I should take it off that burner, even though the burner's on low. Okay, so I put enough oil for the chicken to fry in. I'm gonna put this right back over. Okay, let's take a look at this rice. Now the rice turned out very good. I'm very happy with that. Very happy with that. Here's our rice, how it turned out. I'm very happy with that. You can see the white sticky rice. So I'm happy with that. And I'm glad we added the butter. The butter gives it flavor, and I love that. So the rice is done. We got the oil going, and it's going to get warm. I'm working on that getting warm. Maybe I should have did it on that big burner. Yeah, let me move it to over here and put it on the big burner. I think we'll put it on this big burner. We'll get rid of this pan. We don't need this right now. Okay. So, let's get back to our sauce. We're going to do some more squeezing of the juice. Not too much is coming out anymore. I think we got the bulk of the juice we were going to get from this orange. Okay, so let me take this spoon real quick because there's a little piece of orange we don't want in there. Okay, so now we're on the sauce. We got the chicken that's sitting in the tempura sauce and the tempura mix, and that's fine. We got the heat going. We got the rice done. All we got to do is do this juice, this sauce. Okay, so we got the orange juice. It says that we're going to add the soy glaze, which that's what this says. It says sweet soy. You can see it. And it says 2 fluid ounces. So how much does it ask us for? It looks like it asks us to put the whole thing in here. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So we went ahead and added the soy glaze. I'm going to add this to our garbage pile. And as we're doing it, I'm just going to go ahead and take a fork and stir it a little bit. Okay, so after that, it says the chili sauce. That's this Thai style sauce. So, and all of these, I guess they give you the right amount that you're supposed to use, because it's not telling me sometimes the amount of something. So I'm assuming that if it doesn't tell me a certain amount, that it's the whole thing. Okay. So the other thing is the jam stock concentrate. Okay. Yeah, it's going to come together. This looks like it's that kind of where the sticky thickness comes from when you get your orange chicken and it has that coating on it. So we got that in there. And then it actually says the orange zest that we did. Remember, we did a teaspoon of orange zest. I'm going to go ahead and add that. And that looked like that ended up being the right amount. So that goes in there. Starting to look pretty good, you guys. We're not done yet though, because it says half of the vinegar. So this one specifically says to only use half of this. So since it's only half full to begin with, I'm going to put half of the half. So we're going to come to about right here then, because it says only to use half of it. So a bit more. Yeah, so that's about it. So that's all we're going to use of that. And then it says the chicken stock. So we're going to do that. Yeah, these things, I've never used these kind of ingredients before, but I guess that's where the the thick glaze that we're going to put on our orange chicken comes from, because all this stuff seems very thick, kind of thick like syrup. Okay. And then the cornstarch is what's going to help thicken it up. But before that, 1 tablespoon of water, it says. So I'm just going to fill this up with water and pull out a tablespoon from it. Ooh. Okay. So since it said a tablespoon of water, this is a tablespoon. So put that water in there. And then it says the cornstarch. It looks like, yeah, the oil is definitely warm. And it said that if we put the tempura in it and it sizzles, that's when it's ready. But we're not going to do that yet. We're still working on this sauce, which is looking like it's coming together. The cornstarch is what's going to make it thicken. So we're going to open that up. And this definitely looks like how it's supposed to look. After we fry the pieces of chicken in the tempura mix and the oil, then we're going to glaze the chicken with this sauce. And it looks a lot like the picture. The picture that I'm looking at, their sauce looks like my sauce. So I guess that's what happens when you follow the directions. So this is good. That means we're doing it right. So here's how their sauce looks right here. And then here's how our sauce is looking and coming together. So we're doing pretty good. So it said if I put a little of the tempura mix in the oil and it sizzles, that the oil is ready. So I'm just going to take my fork and go like this. And it is sizzling. Okay? It's sizzling like how when you make funnel cake and you drop the batter in. So I'm going to move you guys a little closer to the stove with me so you can see what's going on over here, because we're going to be putting the chicken in. We're going to move you all a little closer to me, to the stove. See how close we can get so you can see. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so the oil was clearly hot enough. I tested it. It said put some tempura in it, and if it sizzles, it's ready to go. So, we had already battered our chicken. So now we're just going to drop the pieces in there. And instead of just dropping them in, because I want them to be really nicely coated, I have one of these, and I'm going to use this to drop them in. So. Oh, I forgot to turn that burner off. We don't need that burner on, and we want to make sure the rice gets off. Okay, so I probably should have put it on this burner for you guys to really see closer, but I'm hoping that you can see what's going on here just fine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start dropping the chicken in. We're going to make sure that they're coated really well, and then we're going to drop the pieces in. Make sure they're coated. Drop them in. I'm hoping this is going to be really delicious. I actually like orange chicken when I go to the Chinese food place, and I'm hoping that it comes out good, because if it does, I wouldn't mind making this for myself again in the future. It was pretty easy to do. You got to come along for the ride, and hopefully if it comes out good, you order the orange chicken with jasmine rice from HelloFresh, and you save my video and you do it along with me, and it'll be like we're cooking together. Just friends cooking together. And we have some extra tempura in here. So we're gonna let that fry. And then we'll probably turn them over, I imagine. I'll look at the directions real quick. Imagine we have to cook both sides. So, drop a batter until it sizzles. Carefully add coated chicken in a single layer. Add more oil in between batches if necessary. Cook until golden brown on first side, 3 to 5 minutes. Using tongs, which I got out myself without reading. So hey, that is what I was supposed to do. Don't want to just drop it in there and have it splat all over you and burn yourself. Using tongs, flip and cook chicken until it's golden brown and cook thoroughly through. So 4 to 5 minutes. To check for doneness, cut one piece in half. Okay, so using tongs or slotted spoon, which I have a slotted spoon, we're going to transfer the chicken to a paper towel lined plate. So for now, we're just going to see if maybe the ones I did earlier first are, oh yeah, that's nice, look. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring that over to you. See how it's like nicely golden brown a little bit? Okay, so we're going to flip some of them over. We don't want them to overcook because it's still got to cook on the other side. And we're also going to, it says golden brown, and we're also going to put the, ooh, that's nice. We're also going to put the sauce on them too. But, ooh, very nice. This is cool that this is the first time I've ever done this, and it's funny because you think cooking would be so hard, like I would never think that I could just do this, and comes to find out I can. So if I can, you can, because Kathy is not a good cook. She really is not. But I want to bring you along with me real quick. I'm going to unplug this from the charger. But that way you can kind of see how it's coming together. Can you see how it's starting to look? Pretty good there. Okay. Just put you back here. And I'll bring it over when it's like when it's ready. But since it said that we're gonna use like a slotted spoon, which I have a slotted spoon, or the tongs, to transfer them to a plate for the oil to drain, we'll just take a paper towel and put a paper towel plate right here. And we're gonna transfer the chicken onto it. Still got a little bit of time to cook on that other side. We definitely don't want to burn anything, but we want them to cook well. So got a little bit more cooking time here. But what we're going to end up doing next, yeah, it's actually really coming together. Nice. It was starting to pop. Starting to pop a little bit. I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit to medium. It was on like medium high. I don't think we need that high anymore. We maybe got 1 or 2 more minutes of cooking here. And then I know what we're going to do next is drain it onto this paper towel on the plate. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get a different pan, which is that larger pan. Remove this rice. Turn this burner back on again. So we have another pan that we're going to put there on the burner, and we're just going to put the burner on like medium or medium low, because I know that what we're going to do next after the chicken pieces drain onto this paper towel. Oh yeah, very nice. This is really gorgeous. Really nice. It says to know if it's cooked all the way that we can cut one in half. So we will do that. Very nice. Take this. I'm going to take this one piece that's nice and golden brown. I'm going to turn this to low. And we'll cut this piece and just see if it's good. If it's good to go. If it is cooked. And it is. Very nice. It's definitely cooked and it's golden brown. So we're good to go. So I'm going to start to pull out the rest of them from the oil so that they don't overcook. Very, very nice. What I liked about this meal is things are prepped separately in little different bowls. The tempura was in one thing, the sauce was in another. I liked that I got to do everything separate. Okay, so we're going to turn that off. And I want you guys to see how the chicken came out. It's covered in tempura. Okay, so now what it says to do, you know the rice is done. Our chicken there is done. Now we're just going to glaze the chicken. It says add the tempura chicken and half of the scallions to the pan with sauce. Okay, so we're going to put the sauce in here. Actually, I kind of want to use the same pan. So let me just dump this oil. Okay, I'm going to dump it in a metal bowl. I'm going to dump that in there so that I can use this same pan. Okay, so I'm going to use this same pan. And what I'm going to do with that pan is I'm going to go ahead and put this chicken in the pan. Now that it has drained, see the oil has drained on there. And what you do with the stuff now is we're going to put the sauce on the chicken. I'm just going to kind of coat the chicken. I remember last time when I did the sausage rigatoni, I was saying how I wish that they gave us more sausage. With this one, I kind of wish they gave me a little bit more ingredients for more sauce. But we can toss it around with our slotted spoon. And remember, it said to add the scallions to it. We're going to add that for the color and for flavor. I really want you guys to be able to see what the orange chicken turned out looking like. It came out very good. So here's what our orange chicken looks like. Let me see if I can slot that down a little bit. See? That's what the orange chicken came out looking like. So we'll let that set a little bit in that sauce. Smells really good. And then I'm going to put a plate together with our rice. And we're going to test it out. We're going to see if it came out tasting as good as it looks. I'm going to clean this area off a little bit so that I can prepare a plate. Okay, so let me get a plate. Okay, so let's see how we did, folks. I think we did good. So we know that our rice came out delicious. I already tasted that. So we're gonna put some rice on a plate. Very nice. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take a fork here and get some of these pieces of orange chicken. Ooh. Okay, so if we just do like this. So we have some for somebody else to have some, or for leftovers another day, but here is how my food came out. Okay, people, here is Catherine's Orange Chicken and Jasmine Rice. This was how they said it was going to look. This is how it came out. I think we did a good job. Now, the final taste test, because it doesn't matter if it looks like it's supposed to. What matters is that it tastes good, because it's food. So, let's try it. It should be hot. That I do know it's going to be hot, so I'm going to have to blow on it a little bit. I like it. And you should make sure that you fry it really good. I put a lot of tempura batter on it because that crispiness is what you really, really like. And the sauce sticks to it. It's so good. I'm surprised, excuse me, I'm surprised at how good these meals actually taste. I don't know who the HelloFresh chefs are, but they do a good job of making these meals, one, reasonably priced, and two, they make it so that it's easy for you to do. For us cooks who don't know how to cook for real, it's really good. So, thank you for joining me again for Kathy in the Kitchen. And I've ordered 4 more meals, so we'll see what I get. I know I ordered some enchiladas, I ordered some chili. I forgot the other 2 things I ordered, folks, but we will cook together again. Thank you for joining me. And that was Orange Chicken with Kathy in the Kitchen. See you next time. Thanks for joining me.